Hello everybody, I'm Rich Westfall and welcome to this week's edition of Money Talks with Charter Bank. Money Talks is a 30-minute show about finances, your money, and our community here in Jackson County. We've got a great show tonight with two wonderful guests. Our first guest is the Executive Director of the Community Care Network, and our second guest tonight is the President and CEO of the Mississippi Gulf Coast YMCA. So as you can see, our show tonight centers on individual health and wellness. So I think we all need that, and I think tonight we'll be able to give out some great information. But please welcome our first guest, Diane Easley. And Diane is the Executive Director of the Community Care Network. Diane, welcome to Money Talks.
Thank you. I appreciate being here.
You bet. Happy to have you here. You guys do such great work here in Jackson County with all the things that you do. I wanted to have the opportunity to have you on the show so you can sort of tell your story a little bit about Community Care Network and all the things that you do and how you do your work. But first, let's, if you don't mind, take a minute and maybe tell the audience a little bit about you and what really led you for you to be doing what you're doing today.
Well, my background is in nursing, and I worked as a nurse, worked teaching nursing school for quite a few years, and then I was the director of the women's program for the Home of Grace for a number of years.
Oh.
And I thought I was retiring, and my husband would tell you I don't retire very well. I started going to some of the local jails to do Bible studies and life skills. And because my heart is really with women who are overcoming addictions, abuse, neglect, and things that take a long time to have help overcoming. And what I saw in the jail system was people continuing to just come back and back and back. And a lot of them didn't have a place to go that was safe when they got out. So in 2003, with a really great board and some wonderful volunteers, we started Community Care Network. And we started to house women who had been incarcerated. But then it quickly changed. It quickly changed. About a third of our clients have been incarcerated and really need to reconnect with family and with children. About a third of them maybe have graduated from some type of a treatment program. And then there's another third of the women, especially in today's economy, that are about one paycheck away from being homeless. And if it's a single mom especially, loses a part-time job, someone leaves her, it's going to take a couple of months and she's going to be evicted. So Sue's Home is a Community Care Network, and the name of our shelter is Sue's Home. And it is designed to help those women and their children over the long term. They can stay with us 6 months or more while they get stably housed and begin to be productive citizens.
And you said something along the way there that struck a chord with me, and that is it's not just maybe abuse issues or anything like that. It's financial issues where someone is, like you said, one paycheck away from being homeless, working with those folks. Do you provide financial counseling for those folks?
We do. We provide financial counseling. We're hoping to partner some with Charter Bank to help with some volunteers that want to. Our women need mentoring in a lot of areas, and one of the areas is financial. We do financial counseling. We do things like anger management, parenting classes. Many of these women maybe weren't very well parented themselves, so they don't know how to model that.
Right, absolutely.
We have women, if they come in and they need a GED, we're going to hook them up with some GED class on the coast because there's some really great ones. We've had clients that go on to the community college system and get jobs that way. So we're really fortunate because the community here is so supportive.
Instead
we
of
just
a handout,
need to let them know what our needs are.
Instead of really a handout, it's a hand up.
We want them, we want them to become self-sufficient people who can give back, which is one of the reasons, even while they're a client, we have them look for opportunities to volunteer, like soup kitchens or church pantries or things that they can even begin to give back while they're there.
Absolutely, and it helps them get back into a social rhythm, so to speak.
Yes.
Back into a level of communication, and maybe they've lost a lot of trust and
Oh, yeah.
and those kind of things. So that helps them build back to being more productive citizens that way. I think that's great. You mentioned Sue's home. What type of facility is that?
We are about a 5,000 square foot home. It had been vacant for quite a while when we took it. It was a foreclosed property, and with the help of hundreds of volunteers on the coast, I helped with some of the Katrina teams, and I kept all the names and phone numbers.
Great idea.
So I started calling those groups and saying, please come back and help us with this women's shelter.
You knew they could do the work.
I knew they could do it. Wonderful groups from a lot of different churches in the area. We had to take the house down to the concrete floors and the studs.
Right.
And so we now have 6 bedrooms available for families. 2 big living rooms, a beautiful kitchen, and we're on 3 acres in the country, so they have room to move around. Our ladies do their own chores. Everyone is assigned work, and we don't have a staff that mows the yard. We do it.
You do it, yeah.
If it needs painting, we paint it.
Absolutely.
And we are always looking for community groups, businesses, church groups that want to come out and help as volunteers.
Yeah, I've been to the house. And let me tell you, it is very nice.
It's
the
beautiful.
work that you guys did was first class, and I think it is an environment, creates an environment for success. So I think that's really important.
Our goal was it not to be a facility. We have women that have been in numerous facilities.
Yeah.
We wanted them to walk through the door and feel like this could be their home. We want them to be there for 6 months as a home. Especially when there are children involved.
Yeah.
I mean, those kids need to feel nurtured and special and not like they're just being housed.
Absolutely. And it certainly that environment creates that. Do you serve just Jackson County, or do you serve the entire coast?
We serve the entire coast, and we have clients from other parts of the state.
Oh, you do?
We're not the domestic violence shelter because we're not hidden. I mean, we would welcome anyone to come tour the facility. We'd love to have them come out. And because of that, we don't take local domestic violence cases.
Right.
But we do take people who are completely out of our area, and we know they're not in danger. Sometimes they come to us.
Yeah.
But we serve people from all over the state, primarily the local southern counties.
Yeah. I want to get to something in a minute, but before I do that, tell me about your staff. How many staff members you have?
We are so blessed.
Board members, volunteers, and that
goodness.
kind of.
Volunteers, dozens and dozens, and never enough. Because when you have a house full of women and they're all looking for work or going to a doctor or going to school, or we may be going 5, 6 different directions every day.
Yeah.
So we look for people that would be a transportation volunteer that could just come pick someone up and take them to a doctor's office.
Sure.
We look for volunteers, and we need volunteers who could be mentors to the children.
Yeah.
Many of them have some learning disabilities because of being unstably housed in the past. And our staff, we have to staff 24 hours a day for security. And so we have 4 women that work during the day, and we have 3 people that rotate nights. And we're so fortunate because every one of them could make more money working somewhere else, and they just feel like they're supposed to do this. Yeah.
It's a calling for them, and obviously with your success, they put a lot of themselves into it.
They really do.
That's good.
They really do.
So one thing also is families. You talk about families. That's an interesting concept to me. So instead of clients or individuals, it's really you take a family.
We see these as the families in the home, and we want that family atmosphere.
Good.
Sometimes we may have a woman who has a child with her, but maybe there's another child that's ready to rejoin that family. So we have to work with agencies to bring that child back in, supervised, and there's usually a lot of counseling that needs to be involved. So we work with agencies in the area to try to get the counseling that the family may need.
What is your favorite Sue House story?
Oh, oh my goodness, what a question.
I know there's.
I think one of my favorites right now is I went to work this morning, and one of the women that is now working with us, I remember the day she became a client.
Wow.
And that was 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Mm-hmm.
And she graduated from our program, got married, got her GED, and now has come back. And she helps with our rental program because we're very unique in we're one of the very few agencies that when they complete our program, we help them get into an apartment because we help them save their money, but we have a HUD program that also helps us get them stably housed.
Yeah.
And she helps administer that program. So it's kind of neat to see someone going from a very scared young lady to a GED graduate and a new bride, and now coming back as she works with us. It's just really wonderful.
That's a great story. What a true success. What is the best way? Okay, if I'm out there, an individual, maybe a single mom or something, how do I get in touch with you? How do I know I need to call you?
If you even think you need our help, the best thing to do is to make a telephone call.
Okay.
And our number is 228-215-2662.
Okay.
And someone will return that call if we can't get it to it immediately. We'll find out what their specific needs are because we interface with a lot of other agencies. And it could be that we're not where they need to be. We are not a treatment program.
Right.
So if they need drug and alcohol help, we're going to refer them somewhere
right
else
place.
and then bring them in after they graduate.
Yeah.
If it's domestic violence, then we're going to help them get to a sheltered area.
Sure.
And we stay full with a waiting list.
That's
so
great.
very often we're really collaborating with a lot of other agencies.
Tell everybody one more time the phone number.
It is 228-215-2662.
Okay. And they can feel free to call with any
Absolutely.
questions
Yes,
at any time.
yes, absolutely.
And someone will be there to help. Well, Diane, thanks so much for being on the show tonight.
Thank you
I
for
think
having
we
me.
learned a lot. The work that you're doing here in our community is just wonderful. And I know the folks that you're working with, you're giving them a real chance to succeed, and that's really, truly special. So we appreciate you and what you do.
Thank you so much.
You bet. Thank you. And that concludes our first segment. And when we come back, we'll be visiting with Phillip Phillip Doiron, who is the president and CEO of the Mississippi Gulf Coast YMCA. So hurry back. We'll be back soon.
If our lives are getting so much better, why has banking fallen so far behind with monthly fees and bad service?
Welcome to Megabank. Please hold.
Welcome to Kasasa. Free checking with monthly rewards, refunds on ATM fees, and your choice of cash, music, and extra money to save. Upgrade to a free Kasasa account today. Carried locally at Charter Bank. Do you Kasasa?
Welcome back, everybody, to Money Talks with Charter Bank. Our second guest tonight is Phillip Doiron. He's got a very interesting name. I think you're from Louisiana or something
Cajun
like that.
country.
Cajun country, I love it. Phillip Doiron. And Phillip is the president and CEO of the Mississippi Gulf Coast YMCA. Phillip, welcome to Money Talks with Charter Bank.
Well, thank you. And doesn't that sound pretentious, president and CEO?
Yeah,
I don't know why I didn't get double salary.
I was going to say, do they pay you more for being
No,
being
I don't
that
think
way?
so. May have paid me less.
Yeah.
But glad to be here.
Good. I know I met you when you first started here, and you followed a very successful set of leaders there at the Y that really kind of got it to that point. But since you've come in, you've sort of taken it to the next level, and I know that takes some special talent. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and maybe what led you to the YMCA here on the coast.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. You mentioned about this YMCA's history, and it is a great history. I mean, it started with the Blossman family, and without that family and that company, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, I agree.
And then you have David Harris, longtime CEO, great man, and unfortunately somebody we lost this past fall.
Yes, we did, yep.
But talk about casting a large shadow. He did, and among many others that make this place successful.
Oh,
so
no question about it.
anytime we say somebody's raising the Y or whatever, it's a group of people raising
Right.
the organization. But I appreciate that.
Yeah, you bet.
But me personally,
Yeah.
well, I'm from Vicksburg, Mississippi.
Oh.
I was a self-called Y brat growing up. I learned to swim there. I played football, basketball. I went to camp there, did all those things. And believe it or not, Rich, I was actually in law school at one point.
Oh, my goodness.
An odd set of circumstances where I really wasn't thinking about what I wanted to do in life. And when I was in law school, loved the law, great profession, just wasn't for me.
Right.
I started thinking, well, what do I really enjoy? And I thought about how much I liked working with people. And so that led me back to school, got a master's degree, led me to the YMCA. And I hate to say this, but almost 21 years later, here I am.
No, you should celebrate the 21 years rather than
Exactly.
hate to say. I think
I was
it's
hoping you were going to
wonderful.
say, it looks like I started when I was 5 years
Yeah,
old.
I think you must have really
That's what it
started early. You know, most people start when they're 16.
A
You probably
prodigy.
started it
Yeah.
at 10.
Yeah, of course. Something.
Yeah, at 10, something like that. Well, that's great. So, how did you get here? What were the steps that you took to get
Well,
here?
the nice thing about the YMCA is each one is autonomous, meaning it lives or dies on its own, okay?
Right.
But it's connected to a network of literally several thousand YMCAs throughout the country. And so I told you I started at the Vicksburg Y.
Right.
Well, I got another job in South Carolina. I almost was like climbing the ladder, so to speak.
Yeah.
Went from a program director to a branch director job. Then I came back to the Delta in Greenville, Mississippi as a CEO.
Okay.
Stayed there for 7 years, got the opportunity to come here, and it's the combination of place and people. I couldn't pass
Yeah.
it up.
What did you think on your first visit to the Mississippi Gulf Coast?
Well, for one thing, I remember meeting you. At the time, you were serving on our board of directors, and I met you at the Great Southern Club.
Right.
And sitting, and I don't know how many stories high that building is, but
It's 15.
15-story high building, overlooking the Gulf.
Beautiful.
I'm saying, well, you know, what do they say? You're not in Kansas anymore.
Yeah,
I mean, we
yeah.
were in a new place,
Yes.
and love where I came from.
Absolutely.
I love the Delta. I love the people, but I wouldn't trade this for anything.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I tell you came in at the right time, and I know that you have been working very, very hard trying to develop the programs there at the Y. You're part of a youth health coalition that seems to be really getting stronger as we go through.
And you know, those two are kind of tied together. And I love how you said this episode's about, you know, your personal health. And it's not just financial health, which is important,
Sure.
but it's also what's going on in your body and your mind and your spirit, which is kind of our mission.
Absolutely.
But that Youth Health Coalition, working on youth obesity,
Yep.
it fits right in with the YMCA, and the Y tries to address kind of what I call the whole person.
Yeah.
So,
Nutritional. Exercise.
exercise, spiritual wellness. I mean, we have
Yeah.
a lot of different areas we go into.
That's wonderful.
So-
Well, you have a lot of work to do, and I noticed
We do.
there is a lot of work going on from a construction standpoint at the Ocean Springs Y. What's going on there?
Well, sometimes it looks like a deconstruction standpoint.
Well, if we can put the picture up on the screen as Phillip takes us through it, then I
Yeah.
think you'll see what he's talking about.
What we've got is a project that's probably been in the works for about 15 years. All right, this is the Blossman Family YMCA you're seeing. This is our flagship. And what we're doing there is we're taking it for the next quarter century.
Wow.
With the building that you see with a lot of glass on it, that's a new wellness and membership center that we're building. In fact, it's being constructed right now. We're also renovating the natatorium, the John and Mary Alice Minor natatorium, by the way.
Oh,
and
good.
if those of
Yeah.
you from the Ocean Springs area will know the legend of the Minor family and
Absolutely.
aquatics.
Yeah, yep.
But redoing that, the entire YMCA is getting a facelift. We're adding an indoor track, which today, being that it's what, 40 some odd degrees, might
Yeah.
not be a bad choice to be inside
Absolutely.
walking.
Yeah.
But we try to do it again, like I said earlier, trying to address the whole health. We want something for the very young, and so we've got new playground equipment coming in. We're renovating our child watch area. We're making new youth program space. We're even trying to add some teen space. We're doing some adult features with the fitness, with indoor track, and we're even doing something for our senior citizens with rebuilding our active adult center, which was lost to the fire recently.
Yeah.
And it's going to go in there. So
what's the amount of capital you're putting into to the facility?
it's going to be a little over $3 million
$3
project.
million expansion.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
And you can still donate.
Yeah. What's the number, Phillip?
That's right. Well, I'll give you that. Well, our number is 228-875-5050, and we have a website.
Yeah.
mgcymca.org.
Good. And we'll circle back to that a
yes.
little later in the show. But is the YMCA just for kids?
You know, it's not. And I've kind of alluded a couple of times, it's for the entire lifespan. A lot of people see the Y for what they do at the Y. If you work out and you work out at the Y, well, you think it's a fitness center. If you're on the swim team at the Y, well, you think it's for swimming.
Swimmers, yeah.
If you've got a kid in after school care or a kid doing sports or camps, you think it's that. If you got a kid going through a teen counseling program, which we also do at the Y, you think it's that.
Yeah.
It is really a wide open organization that can treat all ages.
Full service.
Full service, and that's what I love about it, is that someone can stay engaged with that organization throughout their lifespan.
Yeah.
And we're just guided by that simple principle to help people in spirit, mind, and body.
That's wonderful.
So it
Wow,
gives us the
that's
guiding
great.
principles, but it keeps the field wide open for a lot of different avenues.
Well, that's it's a big commitment on the Y's part to really give a facelift for the Y, to build beautiful new facilities and new playground, new equipment, and new areas for everyone to come in and do what they need to do. How do you think, how will that affect your membership?
Well, we do hope that the way we see it is that the Y is not in competition with anybody. We try to coexist or partner with people, but we see this as a means to reach out further in the community, and not only in the Ocean Springs community. What we want to show the entire Gulf Coast is that this is what a YMCA facility looks like. But it's not about the building. It's about what happens inside the building. And also in our case, because we have programs throughout a 4-county area in the Gulf Coast, it's about what's going on in your community with the YMCA.
Yeah, so it's not just one YMCA in Ocean Springs. You guys are coast-wide.
No, we have about 12 other program facilities spread throughout Hancock, Harrison, of course, George, and Jackson County.
Great.
So,
man, so it's not just here,
we're
can reach
everywhere.
out. Yeah, that's right. I love that. How many families do you think you serve?
We figure out, we do a little thing every year, and we serve a little over 8,000 people a year, and that could be through membership, that can be through child care, that could be through our senior programs, our teen programs, any number of ways we touch people.
Yeah, that's great.
So,
what is here's the big question. What is your favorite YMCA story?
well, believe it or not, and I thought about this, my favorite Y story was actually nothing that I was working at the Y doing. It was when I was volunteering for the Y. Now, when you work for the YMCA, you sometimes get volunteered also, and which is great. But I was coaching a youth basketball team. Had a little boy on there named Wesley, and Wesley is the kind of kid that you love to have marry your daughter. Just yes sir, no sir, upright, great kid, but the boy didn't have an athletic bone in his body. Wesley spent all year long with us playing basketball. Never hit the rim. He'd shoot it up there, it'd clang off the backboard and all. But instead of making him the butt of the jokes and all, the team kind of adopted him. They rallied around him. And it comes down to the final game. Okay, Wesley not scored a point all game, all year.
All year.
We're winning the game, but and comfortably enough, we said our goal is to get him to score. Okay, so for the last 2 minutes, that's all we tried to do. Feed the ball to Wesley. He'd throw it up, clank.
Brick,
air ball, all that. Nothing. 10 seconds left. All right, we call a timeout, and I know the other coach is kind of getting mad. He's like, "What's going on?" So we planned. Said, "Wesley, you sit over. You be ready. You're getting the ball." He said, "Yes, sir." The ball comes in. Our best player named LJ. He's smooth as silk. He gets down there in the lane. Instead of taking a shot, he feeds it out to Wesley. Wesley throws up in the air, and to this day, I'd love to say he hit the rim, but it was nothing but net. It went
Oh,
right
what a
through
great
there.
story.
And the crowd erupted. And the thing I'll never forget is that Wesley said, "Why are they cheering?" And I remember looking, I hugging him and said, "Wesley, they're cheering for you."
Yeah.
And
And that's a lifetime memory
That's a
for
lifetime
Wesley.
memory. That boy, I can guarantee, is a success somewhere today.
Because
just
of
not
that.
athletically.
But you know that, and I'm sure there are a million other stories just like that that have come from the YMCA.
There are, because
Yeah.
it didn't matter about who was best at the sport. It mattered he participated, and
Yep.
the kids learned sportsmanship because of it, and he became a better person just because of that little instance.
Tell everybody how they can get in on all that.
Okay.
Tell them how to get in touch with
They
you.
they can call us at 875-5050. They can come to the YMCA in Ocean Springs on Government Street, or they can go to our website at mgcymca.org and see what's going on at your Y.
And you could come there and see Phillip and me sing YMCA.
YMCA. That's
Well,
right.
Maybe not. Maybe not. Phillip, thanks for being here tonight. It was wonderful to visit with you and get caught up on everything at the YMCA here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
Thank you very
so
much.
Great job. I appreciate it. And thank you all for joining us tonight again on Money Talks with Charter Bank. Please join us again next week and every week at 7:30 right here on WKFK Channel 7.
We're always looking for better ways to do things, but with some banks, better for them isn't always better for you.
You've reached Megabank. Press 1 to hear your current balance. Press 2 to hear these options again.
Introducing free Kasasa checking. When you do stuff for us, like swipe your debit card or get e-statements, we make it even better for you with cash back and refunds on ATM fees. Kasasa, carried locally at Charter Bank. Do you, Kasasa?